All right, welcome back. You watching Liquid Lunch on Biz TV. And, before the pandemic started, we had the number one, the queen of all bonds people, Michelle Esquenazi, on the show. And we're talking about how crazy these bail reform laws were. That they were actually letting criminals out of jail for no cash bail, and they would just go rob another bank and come back in, rob another bank, come back in. The pandemic made it even easier. Because now they're actually letting criminals out of jail, including high-profile criminals like Michael Avenatti and Michael Cohen, Donald Trump's disgraced former attorney. And they're still pursuing Roger Stone and Michael Flynn alike to throw them in jail. So we're in total mayhem in the whole criminal justice system. And the only person who knows what's really going on joins us right now. Michelle Eskenazi is with us, along with Frank Morano. And hello, Queen. How are you?
I'm great. How are you guys holding up?
We are doing okay, I think.
Amen.
I think we're doing better than okay. Michelle, the amazing thing is, people can knock criminals all they want, but criminals, especially the violent ones, are doing whatever they can to help society get back to normal. We saw yesterday in Chicago, Chicago had their most violent and bloodiest Memorial Day since the year 2015. Here in New York City, we had a 3-day weekend. Nobody's working, but at least the criminals are out and about. I'm curious, do you think that this uptick in crime has been due to policymakers letting people out of jail and letting people out of prison, some of which John just alluded to, although the people John mentioned were nonviolent criminals? What's driving this spike in crime?
Well, there's two things, Frankie. And John, there's two things. Number one is, you had them held up in their little 900 square feet apartments for a very long time. And then the other thing is what you said, is that you're letting out a massive amount of people out of jail. Prison is a little different because prison is post-conviction. But, they're ready to get, on the town and kind of back into their game, which is why a lot of people are still, they end up right back in jail. But, it's a problem. It's a problem here in New York because, the cops have been slated with this new job of keeping all of us 6 feet apart from one another.
Right, and masked.
Meanwhile, the guy up the street is raping the 83-year-old. So that's not really the issue. The issue is that me and you need to be, 6 feet apart and wear masks and shit like that.
Well, we're going to try to keep in mind that it's a family show, PG-13. But the Queen, she's a woman in the streets. She's got to deal face to face with the felons and their friends and families. So she speaks it like it is. That's why we have her on all the time. But how bad? No, listen, we don't bring on these, Harvard elite economists. We bring on real people who know what happens in business. And me and Frankie love you. You're the queen of the show. You've never seen another bail bonds person on this show that I can remember. And I do drink every day. But what about recidivism? What about recidivism? How many, in your experience, are you seeing like the same guys on a conveyor belt? Like, okay, you're back again, you moron. What'd you do?
Yeah, you're seeing a lot of recidivism now. You're also seeing a tremendous uptick in domestic violence. And, you're seeing there's a lot of crime that's gone, right now that would normally be reported that's not being reported, right? Because, everybody's afraid to kind of have the cops involved. They know, the victims know that these guys are going to go in and come right back out. So they're a lot more afraid to pick up the phone and call 911 than they ever have been historically. So a lot of these policies that are implemented by our DeBozo mayor are just that. They're Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus. He's very busy going with his SWAT team to the gym every morning. And people in New York City that live in NYCHA housing and things like that are constantly being re-victimized all the time. It's just, it's unfortunately, like all kidding aside, it's a really sorrowful time to be a crime victim.
Well, let me ask you, some people are saying it's also a tough time to be a bail bondsman right now. CNBC did this big story a week or two ago saying how the coronavirus could kill the $2 billion U.S. bail bond business. As John had pointed out, 20,000 prisoners or more have tested positive for COVID. A lot of people are being released from prison to reduce the density, and it's now forcing localities to kind of take stock of who was in their jails and why. So with fewer bonds to post, it was CNBC was saying that there are actually bail bond companies that have had to lay off their entire staff. Are you seeing that in the industry at all?
Yes, of course. I mean, the fact of the matter is that big government came in and decided that they could do a better job at what we do as a private, capitalistic sort of entity, right? And the word billion is not something that bail bondsmen know anything about. Okay, we don't even know anything about the million. We're just thousandaires, essentially, and we do a really good job at what we do. So, they're talking about the big insurance companies on the back end, and we're just kind of like the grunt work guys. We're the essential workers. Like, we're in the street. We are the ones.
Yeah, right. Michelle's doing the grunt work. Right. She was like, yo, guys, how long am I going to be here? I got to make a lasagna over here, okay? So, Michelle, listen, in our last minute, I got to ask you, I hear a lot of women talking about how their roots are no good, their nails are shot, they're showing pictures from 2 years ago. I also hear on the dark side of the street some salons that are doing like late night, early morning, undercover, underground, speakeasy cleanings and cuttings and stuff, okay? From here, I know that your hair is perfect all the time, and that's a hard thing to get perfect with all that. And it looks like your nails are actually perfect too. So is there some special thing for bonds people where you can get your nails and hair done?
Yeah, I mean, it's literally called having a tremendous amount of daughters.
There you go. Touche.
So, that's my thing. I don't know about everybody else, but this takes a lot of work.
No, it looks like it comes pretty easy to you, and I know Frank is in solidarity with me on that.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Thank you very much.
Michelle, you're the bomb. Thank you so much for joining us. I can't believe I had to call you out on Facebook like 5 times before you agreed, but
listen, I want to come here. I want to come all the time. I want to explain to people in New York, all the people, the good people of Brooklyn, where I grew up, why New York City is the way that it is. When it comes time to voting in November, I know a lot of us don't vote, but the names that you're hearing over and over and over again that are associated with failure, I am begging you, vote for the other name.
All right.
Vote for the other name.
All right, we're running out of time. Michelle Esquenazi, the bail bond queen, New York, New Jersey, in my eyes, all around the world. Always
Thank
there
you.
for us. You're always there for us. Stay right there. We are going to deal it out for actually a second hand right after this with famed employment law attorney Jonathan Bell right after this.